Mr. Minister, it's good to have you on State Affairs.
It's a long time.
Yes, good to see you again.
It's a pleasant time with you. I've always had, and I'm happy and sure that this one too will not be anything different.
I wonder sometimes why you're never deterred. You've been stoned. Mud has been splashed on your white.
But I come out always white like what I'm wearing now.
How come you remain white?
Because I have always been, exceptionally honest, exceptionally fair-minded. I've always, adopt the position that I don't need to tell lies, because it's not the lie that I tell that will get me to where I am going. And so I'll continue to tell the truth, because the truth will not make me not get to where I am going.
But politicians are also known for telling lies.
Well, Nigerians tell lies, human beings tell lies, but there would always be exception to the rule.
Are you saying
Adebayo Shittu? I am one such exception. I'm not saying I'm the only exception.
Okay.
Of course, there are a lot of Nigerians. I mean, of course, Buhari, is the model that we politicians, have to imitate. I try to follow after him, and I believe there are so many hundreds or thousands of other people who try to be principled, who try to be honest, who try to be sincere, and who try to be patriotic in their dealings as politicians.
For following Buhari, somebody just says you just tell a lie, because Buhari is a lie.
Well, Buhari is not a lie. Buhari is the truth that we have seen over the last 3 years, and he will continue to be the truth that Nigerians, would have always adopted as their president, because for once we have a refreshing difference in the manner of public trust that Buhari has symbolized. Over the years, particularly in the previous 16 years of the PDP administration, you know that it had been an era of the locusts. The Commonwealth of this country had been pillaged by the military of that time, by the civilians of that time, by the politicians of that time. It was a free fall for Nigeria. Buhari therefore came to sanitize it with a number of policies towards incorruptible public service.
How come during his time Nigeria became the capital of poverty?
Nigeria has always been poor. A lot of Nigerians have always been poor. Of course, those who impoverished Nigeria, by pillaging their resources, made Nigeria poor. They didn't, make effort to create jobs. They didn't make effort to invest our incomes and revenue from oil, all that they were interested in. And I give an example. Over the period of the last administration, the then president took a prayer to the Senate for approval to spend $1 billion to procure arms and ammunition for the fight against insurgency.
Like Buhari has
you
just
know
done.
Very well, I am coming, you know very well that that money was not used to purchase one single gun or one single ammunition. The money, $1 billion, was simply put on the table and shared among the politicians of that era and among the military officers of that era. The situation now is different. Buhari remains the incorruptible leader that Nigerians deserve and who Nigerians have freely chosen to lead them.
In Buhari's time, more than 9 million Nigerians have lost their job.
I can also assure you that in Buhari's time, more than 8 million new jobs have been created in the agri sector alone. In the Buhari's time, more than about 500,000 graduates.
Somebody must have made a mistake. If 8 million jobs
look,
were created,
I don't know where you got.
The National Bureau of Statistics.
I don't know where you got. We must get the statistics.
No, Mr. Minister,
we must get the statistics for the previous 10 years, for instance. Let us then compare and see what has happened to Nigeria.
In Buhari's time, thousands of Nigerians have lost their lives in the Middle Belt. In Buhari's time.
In Buhari, I can assure you that even before Buhari's time, people were losing their jobs, their lives. I can assure you that in Plateau alone, before Buhari came on board, thousands of people died. Before Buhari came on board, in Zamfara, so many people had lost their lives, more than what, the number of lives lost in the Middle Belt. This is not justifying the fact that people are losing their lives. There has been criminality which the present government has brought to almost brought to a halt now. The security agencies have been up to the task. Do you imagine how many people died from Boko Haram insurgency as a result of the negligence of the previous government,
Mr. Minister,
which did not care.
In Buhari's time,
Yeah.
Boko Haram insurgents invade barracks, kill soldiers,
Yes.
capture armory.
Very good.
In Buhari's time.
Yes. Do you care for an answer? If you care for an answer, you would recall that before Buhari came, Boko Haram had been in effective control of 14 local governments in the northeast, where law and order had completely been exterminated, where law and order, where the police had run out of, where the soldiers had run out of. When Buhari came, he completely eliminated Boko Haram, took over.
Did you say eliminate? Did you say completely eliminate?
If
Mr.
not completely, almost completely. Almost completely. Let me tell you. Is it Dapchi girls alone that have been victims of the insurgency? I am telling you, and you cannot refute it, that in Buhari's time, 14 local governments, which were in effective control of Boko Haram, have been retrieved. Today, Sambisa Forest has been almost cleared of Boko Haram. Today, those internal displaced persons are being taken back to their homes. You must give credit to Buhari, and in doing so, compare it with what preceded it. You cannot take in isolated situations and use that to judge this government. You must have all the statistics to compare what has happened when Buhari came and what had been happening before Buhari came.
Mr. Minister, do you feel in Buhari time APC will lose Oyo State?
Look, what happened in Osun is an isolated case. It is in Buhari's time that we won in Ondo. It is in Buhari's time that APC also won in Ekiti. And of course, we have won several political battles all over the country. What has happened in Osun is something that made some of us all coming. And so it is an isolated case, and I pray that the same will not happen in other states.
Has the APC accepted defeat already?
Well, I am APC, but I'm not APC of Osun. We believe, generally, APC believes that the INEC did a fantastic job. If we lose, of course we would take,
You feel it's game up?
It isn't game up because there's still some by-election coming up,
But the way you sound, you sound is game up.
I am telling you that ordinarily we ought not to have gotten the figures that we got. But some of us, like I said, saw it coming, and it is not for me to give the details now. What is important is the fact that this party believes that INEC has done a very good job. If we lose, we take it in good faith. We'll prepare for the next battle. We are not desperate politicians, and so we give credit to INEC, we give credit to security agencies. There are still 3,000 votes to be contested for, and we hope that we will be able to win, most of the votes, which will be coming up, on Thursday.
So we should say Osun down. The next is Oyo, right?
We do not know. For now, we cannot. Oyo will depend on how the party manages it, and it is my prayer that the party will manage Oyo well and better than
Who is the party here? The governor?
The governor cannot be the party. The governor is a member of the party, of course. Symbolically, he's the leader of the party in the state.
Do you accept his leadership?
Why wouldn't I accept his leadership?
You've always been a rebel.
Let me tell you, I am one person who is sufficiently principled. I'm very courageous. I'm very firm. When mistakes are made, I point them out. That does not mean that I don't appreciate every good thing that others are doing. So the fact that we do have some political skirmishes does not mean that I will not recognize him either as governor of the state or as leader of the party in the state. But that does not give any of us any exclusive right to do things which will not be in consonance with the principles, policies, guidelines, and regulations of our party.
And it is good you accept on time that under the leadership of Governor Ajimobi of your party, Adebayo Shittu will not come out smiling on the day of the primary election.
You see, it depends. It depends. You have to recall the fact that we did congresses which, were very controversial, and who the determination of which legality is still, before the courts. So I will not discuss the details of that. Of course, I went to court. let me tell you that I went to court because I'm a law and order person, because I'm a process person, because I believe that violations had occurred and it is for the judiciary to take a decision on it. But in view also of the fact that the party at the national level, who symbolize the soul of the party, have decided that party primaries will be done through direct. I have confidence because by direct, the entire membership of the party are being given an opportunity to take ownership of the party and to decide, rather than having a few people taking decisions on behalf of hundreds of thousands of people. It is now all the membership of the party who, through direct primaries, will decide the fate of every aspirant. And I want to assure you that my proposition is that by the grace of God, with the work I have done, with the consultations I've done, with the fact that I'm the best candidate that we could ever have, with the fact that I am the most qualified, the most experienced, I'm the only one who combines the experiences of having been a legislator in the state for 4 years. I've been state commissioner on 2 different locations. By the grace of God, I've been a minister for 3 years, and so I have the whole world view, as the what I can draw on to develop Oyo State. And of course, people know that I'm also very honest and very godly, and they need a very godly person to be their governor. The people need a very God-fearing person to be their governor. They need somebody who will be very humble and somebody who will be very sincere and will not steal their money.
Why are the governors resisting direct primary?
Well, the feeling is every governor wants to ensure that he extends his term by proxy. It's like if you are leaving, you want somebody to, take over who you can continue to control. One of the arguments against me, one of the things people have against me is that they believe I cannot be controlled by Governor Ajimobi. And when they say that, what I ask them is, who is controlling Ajimobi? If nobody is controlling Ajimobi, why would Ajimobi want to control me when I take over from him? So we must, remember that governance is a periodical thing. When you do your own term, you leave the field for others to take over. Everywhere we have seen governors impose proteges, to replace them, within a short time you have problems, like we are having in Kano State and in a number of other states. So my prayer and my appeal is that everybody who thinks that a governor should continue to have a third term by proxy should rethink the whole idea, because it is simply unrealistic and unworkable.
Who is Ajimobi propping up?
I don't know. You could make effort to ask him.
Is it Tegbe?
I do not know.
Is it Adelabu?
I don't know.
Who?
I don't know. He has not told me, and I don't think he has announced it. The impression he has always given to the public is that he is not supporting any candidate. But whether that is true or not, it is up to him, and it is only God who knows.
Don't you think he's deceiving the candidates?
Well, I wouldn't know. You could make your inquiries from elsewhere.
Or he's just practicing the intrigues of politics?
Well, I wouldn't know. Perhaps yes, perhaps no.
Are you formidable enough to win the primaries?
By the grace of God, I win the primaries. By the grace of God.
It's not about your qualifications.
My qualifications excel.
It's about your political structure.
You see, all of it are relevant.
You've always been defeated.
Look, Buhari was defeated 3 times before. That didn't stop him from becoming president. So many world leaders were defeated in previous attempts. So the fact that I had been defeated under questionable circumstances does not stop me from continuing to aspire in the hope that things will be better this time. And I believe that things will be better this time because the party has adopted a more democratic process of direct primary to allow all members of the party take ownership of the party and decide.
Perhaps you now have the war chest to do the battle.
It's not about war chest. Look,
it's not about money.
Let me tell you, during the 2015 election, it's not the richest, or the person who spent more that won. Even during the primaries of General Buhari, the person who spent most was Atiku at that time. He came third. This person who spent most next to Atiku was Kwankwaso. He came second. and the person who didn't have the money was Buhari, and he came first. So I see the same thing playing out.
You keep banding the story of having no money. Well, Buhari does not look like a poor man.
Is he a rich man?
Where is this story coming from?
Is he a rich man? Do you
How can Buhari be poor?
Is he a rich man?
A former general in the army?
It doesn't matter if he was
a man that had
if
his
he was
children
incorruptible. If he was incorruptible.
When would this story start?
No, it will stop.
Who bought the form for the president?
Why
are you parading this president as poor?
They show their faces.
This president travels to the United Nations.
Does he use his money?
He earns salaries.
So is it illegitimate? Is it illegitimate to earn salaries?
How can Buhari be poor?
Is it illegitimate to earn salaries? Is it illegitimate to even get
How can Buhari be poor?
Buhari is poor because he's incorruptible.
Do you know the poor in Bere? Have you seen the poor?
Let me tell you.
Have you seen the poor?
Do they enjoy the same status?
No, Buhari cannot be poor.
In terms of achievement, a war general would still enjoy some perquisites of having been a war general.
Buhari's son has a power buy.
Look, it doesn't matter.
His father cannot be poor.
It doesn't matter. What do you think?
He got an accident. He went to Germany.
Let me tell you. Look,
his father cannot be poor.
By virtue of the fact that he's the son of the president, the state would have taken over.
He earns money as a former head of state, even when he was not head of state.
Does that make him rich?
He cannot be poor.
Does that make him rich?
So why this poor Buhari picture again?
But because that is the truth. You may want to accept it, you may not want to accept it, for whatever reason. That is the truth.
The truth will set us free, right?
By the grace of God.
Yet we are not free.
Well, we will be free when God wants us to be free. God is the one in control. And again, if we consistently have reform in our processes, Nigeria will be better than it is now.
Will you win on Saturday?
By the grace of God, I will win.
If you don't?
If I don't win in a free, fair, and credible electoral process, I will remain within the party. I will continue to contribute my quota for the growth, progress, and advancement of the party and of Nigerians.
And if you are schemed out?
If I'm schemed out, of course, I will go to court as usual.
But you will not leave the party?
I wouldn't leave the party. I don't have any business elsewhere.
Like you did the last time?
I was a co-founder. I never left, even when I had issues about the process of executives of the primary election. I didn't leave.
You helped to divide your party.
How did I do it?
You joined forces with others to break the APC in Oyo State.
And
now you want to run on that platform.
I don't know what you would have done.
Those you led, some of them are now in the APC.
I don't know what you would have done differently if you were in my shoes.
You conspired with others against your party.
It's not an
now
issue.
They are in ADC.
We constitute the party. Every member of the party constitutes part of the party. If you were in the party and schemes are being made illegitimately, illegally, unconstitutionally, would you be stupid enough to remain and to hands off?
You worked against Ajimobi in 2015.
I never worked against him. As a matter of fact, I was the chief electoral officer of the party in my local government area, and if you look at the result sheet for his election, I signed it as the chief electoral coordinating officer for APC. You see, it is about getting things right. The fact that we are in a progressive party does not mean there will not be unprogressive elements, people who want to...
And Ajimobi must be one of the unprogressive elements.
Let me make a case.
Ajimobi must be one of the unprogressive elements.
The choice is yours to decide. You are a citizen of this country, you live in this state, it is for you to decide. But what I'm saying is, anywhere there's injustice, a law and order person like me, rather than resorting to violence or resorting to fisticuffs, will choose to look for justice within the court system. And that's what I've always done. And that's the best thing to do for a gentleman like me, who is a lawyer of almost 40 years and who believes that law and order must prevail.
Adebayo will say Adebayo Shittu is paperweight.
Well, it is.
He can talk forever.
Let me tell you, he's paperweight, but today I'm minister. Against all speculations, against all stratagems, I'm minister representing the whole of Oyo State.
Ajimobi has really fought you, right?
Look, Ajimobi, you keep saying, suppose Ajimobi thinks I'm a paperweight. Does that make me a paperweight? Does that make me one?
Sowore thinks you are a paperweight.
Who is Sowore by somebody whose identity is questionable in regard to propriety, somebody who is asking that cannabis should be exported legally.
He might be your next president.
How would he be? By miracle?
Buhari will win again?
By the grace of God.
Is Buhari not out already?
He is not out. He's in. He will continue to be in. I'm yet to see anybody who would challenge him successfully. I'm yet to see him.
Some have said this is the time to take Lagos from Tinubu. What do you think?
Well, it is. Everybody could have his opinion about it. I don't know if anybody is saying Lagos belongs to Tinubu. I don't think so.
You don't like Tinubu, do you?
How would he not like him? He's one of the leaders of my party, and we are very friendly to each other. So the issue of liking him or not does not arise.
Do you like what he's doing to Ambode?
What is he doing to Ambode?
And go to the direct primary.
Let me tell you, we are in an electoral process, and this party is saying the membership of the party must take ownership of their party and take decisions.
So Ambode must face the primary.
Everybody must face the primary. Even I would face the primary. Even Mr. President will face direct primaries. So what's the big deal about facing
primary? And if Mr. President can face direct primary, who are these governors talking?
I mean, that's the question.
I don't understand.
That's the question. Your guess is as good as mine.
The president wants direct primaries.
The president wants primaries. I want direct primaries. The party wants direct primaries, and we will have direct primaries.
How is your ministry doing?
We thank God, we are doing very well.
Nigerians are getting poorer, Mr. Minister.
Well, that is your opinion. That's your opinion. It is your opinion.
Is it Okyogu time?
Let me tell you, I come from Okyogu. I have no apology about it. During the last election, the campaign for an Okyogu person to become the next governor was started by Governor Ajimobi. Because when elections were held, majority of Ibadans, where Ajimobi came from, voted instead for Ladoja. In Okyogu, we have 10 local governments. 9 of the 10 local governments voted massively for Ajimobi. And he went on the thank you tour and, pledged that this time will be Okyogu time. And so he was going to encourage Okyogu. I'm from Okyogu. If I benefit from that, so be it. But I can assure you, I'm not contesting for election because I come from Okyogu. I'm contesting for election because I'm the best candidate that can, be governor. I'm the one who is most experienced politically. I've been a member of the State House of Assembly for 4 years at age 26. At age 30,
the reason you didn't go for youth service?
The reason why I didn't go for service.
And who is talking about Adebayo Shittu not going for service? Why are they disturbing you?
Honestly, that is not my business. It is not my business.
Will you still like to go for youth service?
Of course, I will go. It will be a pleasant thing to go.
You want to go for youth service?
After I have been governor, by the grace of God.
Then you go for youth service?
Yes, why not?
What camp would you like to serve?
Whichever camp.
You should be posted to Daura.
It doesn't matter.
You will serve in Daura.
It doesn't matter. Daura is part of Nigeria.
So I should quote you.
It doesn't matter. Anywhere
after being governor,
I will
go for youth
serve
service
in any place if it becomes necessary for me to go.
But if you don't become governor, will you still serve?
If it becomes necessary, I will. Because we'll have to decide whether serving in the House of Assembly and being minister is not superior and does not replace service in the NYC.
However, you are not Kemi Adeosun.
I'm not Kemi Adeosun because I didn't have any forged certificate of exemption.
Kemi Adeosun forged certificates.
She didn't forge. She was a victim of circumstances.
Who forged?
I wouldn't know.
Edmund Obilo forged.
I don't know.
My name is on the form.
My name is not
there. I got the office of the minister.
I wouldn't know.
So who forged?
You would ask.
Not Kemi Adeosun.
You would ask her.
Spirits from London.
You would ask Kemi Adeosun. I don't know about that.
Buhari must be a good man.
He is.
Mr. Minister.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for featuring on State Affairs.
It's my very big pleasure.
Thank you.
I always like to come and confront you.
Thank you.
Rather than you confronting me.